Hey, Brian here with another Top 10 Coalition Moment. I'm here with Chuck Raymond, our founding board president. So Chuck, tell me a Top 10 Coalition moment.
All right, this one is really easy, Brian. This goes all the way back to 6 months before the first day of Coalition's existence. So we're sitting in my dining room, in my house.
Right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of background. We had just had, I think, our 5th very successful 40 Days for Life campaign. And what we're learning is that the community is energized, so many parishes and groups are getting involved in praying and participating on the sidewalk. And we would just have this beautiful, spiritual, impactful 40 days, and then it'd be over. We did it in the spring, we did it in the fall, we did it in the spring again, and it was a lot of work, it was all volunteers, but what we started lamenting a little bit is that there's another 285 days, 65, whatever that is,
sure.
Days left in the year that we're not out there.
Right.
And gosh, what if we could be on the sidewalk all the time? So this man here, who's always full of innovative, creative, bizarre ideas, ideas, had a scheme. So you might tell a little bit differently, Brian, but you and your lovely wife and your 3-year-old son Ethan and probably 6-month-old Eva came over for dinner. Linda made a spaghetti dinner.
It was fantastic, by the way.
Good,
yeah.
Good. And you laid out this concept of what we're going to do. We socialized, had a good dinner. And I remember right down there on the floor, we have wood on the floor now, but we had carpeting, and the little kids were down there playing, and we were on the floor all together. And you outlined this idea of leaving your very successful profession as an engineer and founding a full-time ministry to Sidewalk Council and help move mothers toward making life-affirming choices. Yeah. And I was blown away. I'm a pretty conservative guy by nature. And so the idea that this young man in a very profitable young career with a wife and 2 little kids was going to leave his career and start this ministry, this coalition, with no money, no support, no office, no anything at all.
Right.
I thought it was bizarre, and I'm sure I told you as much.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Oh yeah.
That's a great fantasy, but how would we possibly do that? Right. So that vision of that day is my top 10 moment, my number 1 moment by far. And I have to stick in there that it is such a personally rewarding endeavor. Some of you who know me or my wife know that we experienced the tragedy of an abortion in our own lives when we were teenagers, 17 and 18 years old. And way back in 1976, there was no one counseling, no one on the sidewalk to just give us a pause and to be God's hands and feet on the ground, to give us a pause and an opportunity to think and maybe recognize that God wanted to provide real solutions that would allow us to have given life to our baby. So, from the very first moment, it's just a heartwarming opportunity, and I couldn't be more grateful. So that's my number 1 of the top 10. That's my number 1 moment.
Well, we'll see you next time for another Top 10 Coalition moment. Thank you, Chuck, and thank you everyone for watching.
God bless you. Happy New Year.